Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniatures, and it's time to bring you yet another weekly painting progress. Yes, we have both made progress, both Sparkletrout and myself, and we'll start with Sparkletrout's offerings this week, which, much like last week's, are part of his Skjalos Guard. Skjalos? I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Anyway, you can see here, they are kind of based on the concept of the guardsmen that came in Blackstone Fortress, I guess, pre-corruption. Obviously, when you're running around with a bat like that, I don't know how close you are to getting tainted by chaos, but nonetheless, that's where we are. This guy doesn't have a number. He's got an old retro studded pad. I did print these. Like, so if I can get these off the print and Sparkletrout is able to work his magic on them, then anybody can do it, right? This is the one we had last week. So slowly but surely he's building himself up a little kill team, 5 parsecs team, I don't know. Whatever we'll use them for once we both have some free time, which I don't know when that's ever going to be. Hopefully soon, fingers crossed, right? So I have a truly eclectic mix to show off this week. So first we've got this thing. This is a Platypodamus, if I'm remembering the name correctly, from Cobramode. And from this side everything looked okay, other than some weird little spots that I guess I was being a little too judicious with the dry brushing. I thought I'd splattered everything off, but then it like got all messy and gunky, and that's really my fault. I was trying to play around. I wanted to make it a bit more of a wash and blend, but obviously I just made a mess. So I'm going to have to go back and fix that up. But yeah, this is an interesting figure. Not many people can... a giant hippo platypus. He's big. That's a 40mm base it's on. In fact, a lot of this stuff I have this week is on 40mm bases, except this thing. This is from Epic Minis Patreon. I want to say it was a Shoggoth. And it was a real pain to get everything off of the supports just because his tentacles were absolutely in the way. It was a bit more reddish prior to me trying to seal it, but that's okay. I guess all the weird little bumpiness helps add to it. Where's the Skjalos? There they are. So you can see it's a little bit bigger than a human. And our Platypodamus is obviously very much so. Let's find some more regular size stuff. Ah, here we go. Our Titan Forge, Cyber Forge, Sci-Fi Yakuza boss. That cigar in his mouth doesn't look right. I think I need to go back and reshade it because it doesn't look like there's any shading going on whatsoever on his body. And I'm thinking maybe I need to go and use like a light blue ink, maybe just to run the edges. It looks too plain. I'm going to fix it up. But I thought this is an old Sedition Wars base, but looking at it, I'm like, that's totally a Imperial Japanese flag, and being a space Yakuza seems, you know, he'd be very imperialistic, nationalistic, space I don't know. I'm trying to go somewhere with that, but I don't know. Anyway, really basic paint job that obviously needs a little bit of work, but it's close enough for the time being. This one came out a little bit better. This is, oh, it's like something Benedictus or something from RTLW. Old grimy guy with a vat of gas on his back and a big mean chainsaw. There was a little extra candle here and it snapped off, and I have no idea what happened to it, so we just kind of left it for the time being. Maybe I'll come across it, and if I do, we can go ahead and reattach it at that point. I did a lame job on that chainsaw. I mean, from a distance it looks okay at least, but up close it's pretty yuck. He's a pretty tall dude, even though he's a bit hunched over. Perfect for inquisitorial warbands, random sci-fi games, you name it. I'm sure there's plenty of uses for an old grizzly guy with a giant chainsaw. Alright, Something we haven't had in a while is a Kingdom Death model. This was the Slayer, or Dragon Slayer, or something like that. That was a fun position to try to paint. So, getting the paintbrush in there to paint the inside of her tunic, because if you watch the original video, when I got her, I had glued that on ahead of time, and now I see little spots from the wash on there, and I get to go back and fix it. Yippee. She was just kind of a hard one to get painted. I guess if I wasn't doing videos on these and wanting to build them ahead of time, I would suggest paint and then build, especially for some of these poses. She came out okay. Especially, I think, from a distance, it's not going to be as noticeable. I wonder if she's as tall as some of the newer ones. I have a Black Friday. You know what? I just realized I have the Halloween ringtail fox. I don't think I've ever done that yet. I should do that this week. Or soon-ish. Since Halloween is around the corner. I just got my 1.6 cards, actually, the other day for Kingdom Death. Not that I've opened them or played since, like, 1.5 shipped, but, you know. Whoa! Good thing this next model is just a solid hunk of resin. This guy is from Old School Minis. It was part of the Robots of the Future Kickstarter, and I finally got this guy done. And I've got his buddies. Oh, that one's too yellow. Darn it. I was trying to... Well, I guess they're kind of opposite. I finally got the trio finished. And I tried to paint them almost entirely with contrast paints. And other than the metals, I think I did for the most part. And it came out okay. A little glossy right there still, for some weird reason. I want to say they went and redid these models in metal, and I think that might be to their benefit. The resin was very rough. Now, I didn't mind it so much. These are pretty, you know, chunky, old-school looking models. I think I did a video on them way back when. But, yeah, I think... I know they had a ton of issues with the resin casting at the time as well. So that was a big deal. What else we got? Another of the Order of Illumination for War Machine. I forget which faction. Well, I think obviously Order of Illumination. Is that what they were called? I don't even remember. Anyway, they were really big dudes in really big armor with really big guns and really big swords. And he's almost the same size as a Kingdom Death Lady. And finally, my favorite model that we got done this week. This is, was it Ryoma, the dragONIborn, which is a portmanteau of Dragonborn and Oni, I figured out. I didn't do the best job, but I tried to get everything, and I tried to make sure as a fancy pants samurai, he's got all kinds of textures and colors and whatnot. I think he came out alright. From a distance, I think he looks pretty decent. It's when you get all close and personal that things look a bit unpleasant and washed out and messed up. But I'm not the sharpest painter in the internet by any means, so I'm not gonna stress it. I do think I am gonna go back though and lighten up. You can see he's got those leg scales right above the armor there. It kind of blends in too much with his tunic, and I had wanted to make sure that that didn't happen, and yet it did. You can see, like, on his hands and his head, the reds really kind of stand out. And unfortunately, the orange that I used for some of his braided knots and junk on his armor kind of looks very similar now to the red. So maybe I have to go back and fix that up as well. But otherwise, you can't see the print errors for the most part. I mean, obviously, if I point it out to you, like right there on the base, especially now that it's painted, it's a little less obvious, other than when I point it out. And I actually dropped him twice now, and broke him twice. And for the most part, I think the cracks are completely hidden. I don't think you can really see them. And I'm not going to tell you where this time. So yeah, I'm happy about that. Bite the bullet said nobody had painted it, so I just did. I literally painted him. I had started him a couple weeks past. like when I think I put the video first up, and then I sat there fretting about what I wanted to do with it, but I did manage to get him done. I think my next big challenge is to paint up some of the Cobramode stuff that I have been printing like a madman, along with the Bestiaire models that, as always, continue to plague my tabletop because they are so large and in a million pieces. And hopefully some of Puppets Wars stuff. I've got a bunch of theirs printed up, ready to go. So hopefully we'll see more of those this week. Heck, at this point, you know what? If there's anything you guys are curious to see, if I've got it handy, let me know. I am sort of kind of interested in what you guys would like to see. So by all means, you know, drop me a line here or on Patreon or Instagram or wherever. Anything you might be curious about, because I'm at the point where it's like I've been looking around online trying to find stuff, but it's not like a whole lot of new and niche models are really getting released. Obviously, there's still stuff. There's tons of stuff on Patreon, but you know, I only have so much time and so much resin per week to go wild on that. I've got a couple of companies that I've wanted to check out and just haven't had a chance. And I mean, shipping at this point to the US or anywhere is just so ridiculous. So I'm kind of hesitant to make any tiny orders, and instead would much rather do, you know, nice and big order to at least get my money's worth, but still. So yeah, like I said, any suggestions, drop me a line on whatever your social media avenue of choice is that I might be on. And as always, I will take a moment to plug our Patreon. If you like what we do here, by all means, this is like one of the very few times I like to mention it. Your support is always appreciated and encouraged. Yeah. Anyways, I'll have links down below if you want to track down any of these models here. I'm more than happy to answer any questions about that stuff as well. And I'm going to stop blabbering because I can smell my wife getting dinner ready, and it smells tasty. Oh yeah, she's making homemade nikuman. So yeah, I gotta go. With that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.